Sure. That's at 8 on More 4 News.
Kylie Morris in Jerusalem. Now, Sir Cliff Richard always said he'd been robbed when he came second in the Eurovision contest 4 decades ago with his hit song, Congratulations. But even he couldn't have guessed that 40 years on there'd be allegations that the Spanish dictator, General Franco himself, blocked his victory. A TV documentary to be broadcast this week will claim Franco ordered TV executives to help fix the vote and ensure a Spanish win. Our arts reporter, Stephanie West, talked to Sir Cliff himself.
The night Cliff Richard came second was a nail-biter, even for Eurovision. He was 27, had already been on his summer holidays with Una Stubbs, and Congratulations was the out-and-out favourite to win when he belted it out at the Royal Albert Hall. He lost by 1 point to Spain. Today, en route to a gig in Paris, he was still digesting the startling claim that General Franco, who at the time had ruled Spain for 32 years, had a hand in his defeat, allegedly ordering TV executives to buy votes from their neighbours to ensure a Spanish victory.
Well, when I came off stage that night, I thought myself, I was robbed. I mean, I'm finding it hard to take the whole thing seriously, but if they do find that I won, that would be wonderful.
The claims made in a documentary for the Spanish channel La Sexta, asserting TV execs promised to buy second-rate programmes in return for guaranteed votes for La 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 by Maciel. The entry was already remarkable. The singer drafted in at the last minute to sing in Spanish, replacing an artist who'd wanted to sing in Catalan, a language repressed by Franco. Today, commentators said voting's always been a motive, neighbours habitually giving 12 points to neighbours, but this claim eclipses it all and everyone's agog.
This isn't, we quite like you, we live next door to you, we're going to vote for you. This is, I'm a fascist dictator, I'm going to buy votes, so I win. Franco was said to be fascinated with popular culture, and he seemed to want it to help boost the tourist industry that was just starting. That's all the kind of chatter about his motive.
A lot has changed since this contest was launched in 1956 by the European Broadcasting Union. Its aim to spread unity as a war-torn Europe rebuilt itself. The winner still plays host the next year, but now the public can vote by text, and it's the Eastern European countries who appear to take the contest most seriously.
Russia's desperate to win, for instance, this year. It's done quite well in recent years. All of the countries of the former Soviet Union want to win. They think it brings them prestige.
Eurovision organisers today said they don't plan to investigate the claim that Franco scuppered Cliff. It's all history to them. But when we caught up with Sir Cliff today, he's ready to celebrate victory at last.
Stephanie West reporting. Joining us now from Chicago, John Kennedy O'Connor, author of The Official History of the Eurovision Song Contest. Well, John, I guess a rewrite must be in the pipeline.
Well, yes, when I was investigating the book, I didn't come across this story, and like Sir Cliff, I'm not taking it particularly seriously. You have to remember that the panels of judges that were formed in the 1960s to do the voting were just ordinary members of the public, and I find the image of General Franco sending out his secret police to nobble them extremely amusing.
Now, I'm trying to hose down my innate snobbishness, but I mean, you've had to put up with some pretty grisly history if you've been writing the history of the Eurovision Song Contest. I mean, which did you judge to be the winner in that year in '68? Do you think the Spaniard really did have it? Or Cliff did give a good rendition.
He did give a good rendition, but so did the Spanish lady. Answer the question honestly, I always preferred the French song that came third. And I would say if anybody was robbed, it was the French, because they were leading up until the halfway stage, and then suddenly they got no votes from anybody else in the second half. But it's ironic, isn't it, that the singer from Spain was replaced at the last minute. I'm trying to work out how La 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 is different in Catalan than it is in Spanish.
Well, now, of course, it wouldn't be the first time anybody had tried to fix the European Song Contest. I mean, if indeed Franco did try to. I gather the Irish won it so often they tried to fix losing it because it cost them so much to stage it.
Yeah, there is some truth in that, I think. I don't know. There was rumours in 1994 that Ireland picked a real turkey of a song, hoping that they wouldn't win again, and then the voters of Europe thought otherwise and went ahead and awarded them a third consecutive victory with really a terrible song. But it's actually completely unriggable. It always has been. These days it's just people with a telephone or access to the internet who get to vote, and in those days it was just juries formed from members of the public. It really is unriggable.
Is it a cruel question to ask, why is the European Song Contest so divergent from the mainstream of utterly brilliant music that's available?
Well, it's not necessarily true. I mean, some of the biggest artists, certainly out of Eastern Europe, will take part. They're taking part this year. Both Russia and Ukraine are sending their biggest 2 stars, and I think their songs are very contemporary and songs that you would hear in the marketplace every day. But certainly there's a lot of novelties, there's a lot of very silly stuff, and that's because you only have 3 minutes to get your song across. It's got to be immediate, you've got to stand out from the crowd, and that's why the novelties tend to do quite well. And of course, La La La, I think, was the starting point of a downturn in the terms of the quality of the music.
How do you think this one would go? Commiserations and allegations.
I like that, and actually I think you've got a good singing voice there, John. You should ring up the BBC and see if they can get you in for Belgrade.
Bad enough even for the Eurovision Song Contest. No, John Kennedy
I wouldn't say that. Look, I'm a big fan. I love the contest.
You wouldn't have written a book if you didn't, but thanks very much indeed for joining us from Chicago. Tonight's main news, the death toll from the